Yo, 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 what up? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get into the content. All right. Also, if you're not subscribed to my backup channels, make sure you go to the channel page right now. Make sure you hit the bell icon on all the channel over there, and also make sure you hit the about page and follow me on my other social media in case YouTube decides to delete the channel. All right, that'll help your boy out a great deal. All right, so let's actually get into this content. What we're going to be talking about today is Henrietta Lacks. All right, what's going on, Delmo? What's up with you, bro? Good to see you over here, man. School in session, big facts. And yo, check this out, bro. I looked at what was that? Hold on real quick. Let me see that person's name. That Vertus Hardiman. And that's crazy, bro. I actually have a live stream on Blacklight Revelations 1 planned about doing that. And I also got one planned about Chappelle as well. So, you know, those will be coming soon because that's crazy. That's stuff that's going on with that situation there. That's insane, brother man. That is definitely insane. So we're going to take a deep look into Henrietta Lacks because I think it's something that people need to know, and I think it's something that people need to talk about, and I think it's something that people need to discuss. I delayed going barbers for this live. Yo, appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, you should have went to the barbershop and turned it on and said, listen, y'all need to watch this. It's all good though, family. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you though, brother. All right, so let's check this out. Henrietta Lacks. All right. Henrietta Lacks was born Loretta Pleasant on August 1st of 1920. And she passed away on October 4th of 1951. She was an African-American woman whose cancer cells are the source of HeLa cell, the first immortalized human cell line, one of the most important cell lines in medical research. You see this? One of the first and most important cell lines in medical history. Yeah, bro. I can't wait. I already have the premiere window up. It's called How Illegitimate is the System of Illegitimacy. That's the premiere window for it. So that's gonna be dope. That's gonna be dope. That's gonna be a good one. And we're gonna go in and we're gonna talk about the Chappelle show too. But in a different live stream, though. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says an immortalized cell line reproduces indefinitely under specific conditions, and HeLa cell line continues to be a source of invaluable medical data to the present day. Lacks was the unwitting source of these cells from a tumor biospeeded during treatment for cervical cancer at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland in 1951. All right, now remember, in 1951, that was at the height of the eugenics movement in the 1950s. Okay. These cells were cultured by a man named George Otto. George Otto Gee, who created the cell line known as HeLa, which is still used for medical research, which even this is ridiculous because he didn't create it. He stole them from this woman. You know, they always crediting somebody with discovering something or he built something or something, and you didn't build anything. You stole without authorization. You know what I mean? You didn't create anything. You stole from this woman. As was then the practice, no consent was required to culture the cells obtained from Lacks treatment. Now, here's the thing. How come they weren't able to find any properties that were, you know, this useful with any other cells that they cultured? And of course, there was no law to protect the patient from theft because we live in a system of illegitimacy where the country, where the system of illegitimacy is based itself, was stolen. So why would you expect any kind of protection from theft from these people? It's a foolish expectation to ever expect anything fair, normal, or safe to be afforded by anybody else in this country other than you. All right. So now here it says, consistent with contemporary standards, neither she nor her family were compensated for their extraction or use. Even though some information about the origins of HeLa immortalized cell lines was known to researchers after 1970, the Lacks family was not made aware of the line's existence until 1975, with the knowledge of the cell line's genetic provenance becoming public. Its use for medical research and for commercial purposes continues to raise concerns about patients' privacy and patients' rights. Now, I find this interesting. I find this extremely interesting because if they're so worried about patients' rights, then why is it that nowadays, we're asking all kinds of medical information before you get on a plane, before you go into a restaurant? I mean, really? Really? We're scared? We're worried about patients' rights? Yeah, I don't think so. All right. So now let's go down here to medical and scientific research. All right. Now, and then they have another page here called HeLa. George Otto Gray, the first researcher to study lax cancerous cells, observed that these cells were unusual in that they reproduced at a very high rate and could be kept alive long enough to allow more in-depth examination. Until then, cells cultured for laboratory studies survived only a few days at most, which was not long enough to perform a variety of different tests on the same sample. Lax cells were the first to be observed that could be divided multiple times without dying, which is why they became known as immortal. After Lack's death, Gay had Mary Kubinick, his lab assistant, take further HeLa samples while Henrietta's body was at John Hopkins autopsy facility. These people can't even leave you alone after you're dead. After you're dead, they scraping and scratching for all kinds of anything that they can get from you. But yet want to sit there and say that we're the ones asking for handouts. Like you can't make this up. You know what I mean? This is disrespectful. This is a disgrace. This is vulture-like activity. And the people alive today have the nerve to sit there and say what this woman's family does and doesn't deserve. No, racism doesn't affect anybody alive today. And stop crying about this, black people. Really? Okay. The roller tube technique was the method used to culture the cells, a roller tube technique obtained from the samples that Kubiak collected. Gay was able to start a cell line from lax sample by isolating one specific cell and repeatedly dividing it, meaning that the same cell could then be used for conducting many experiments. They became known as HeLa cells because Gay's standards for methods for labeling samples was to use the first two letters of the patient's first and last names. So the thing that's crazy is that this mad scientist, a man that builds, gets all the credit and love because he victimized somebody and utilized what they had instead of asking permission, just stealing it like these people do, especially the men. He done this before, clearly, because he had a naming system. He had a naming system of how he named the cells. And he named them based on first and last name. First two letters of the first name, first two letters of the last name. You know what I'm saying? I read John Hopkins Hospital, where lax cells were taken, was notorious for collecting cells from black women who had died from cervical cancer without consent in the 1950s. Absolutely. They were. The entire United anything in the entire United States is notorious for stealing from black people at all times. That's literally what the United States does. You know what I'm saying? It's terrible. The ability to rapidly reproduce HeLa cells in a laboratory setting has led to many important breakthroughs in biomedical research. So what they'll say is, "Oh, it's okay, you know, if it wasn't, it was a necessary evil." You know, that's what they always say. It was a necessary evil. You know, no, I had to body harvest her. It was a necessary evil. You know, what's funny is when they say something is a necessary evil, it never involves using them as a sacrifice. You notice that? We had to bomb Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was a necessary evil. Slavery was a necessary evil. All these damn necessary evils, they don't ever involve them. They only involve us for some reason, or somebody else, some other group of people. Why is that? Why is that? It doesn't make any sense. For example, by 1954, Jonas Salk was using HeLa cells in his research to develop the polio vaccine. To test his new vaccine, the cells were mass produced in the first ever cell production factory. Additionally, Chester M. Southam, a leading virologist, injected HeLa cells into cancer patients, prison inmates, and healthy individuals in order to observe whether cancer could be transmitted, as well as to examine if one could become immune to cancer by developing an acquired immune response. Look at this. By 1954, Jonas Salk was using HeLa cells in his research to develop the polio vaccine. To test his new vaccine, the cells were mass produced in the first ever cell production factory. Additionally, Chester M. Southam, a leading virologist, injected HeLa cells into cancer patients, prison inmates, and healthy individuals in order to observe whether cancer could be transmitted, as well as to examine if one could become immune to cancer by developing an acquired immune response. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about that? That's kind of crazy, right? You're just gonna inject these damn cells in somebody. I'm gonna just, we need to study cancer. I'm just gonna inject this cell. Really? Wow. Okay. So that's one vaccine that we're talking about right now that they're responsible for Henrietta Lacks's death. The polio vaccine. That's what they said. So that's the first one that they cataloged here. Okay. For, yeah, see, here Jonas Stalk. He used them to develop the polio vaccine. HeLa cells, right? Hold on real quick. I think I'm gonna have to refresh this screen. Give me a second here. Of course. Look at this. You see how it don't have Do you guys see how it doesn't have any text at the bottom there? You guys see how it doesn't have any text at the bottom there? Oh man, I don't know like what's going on there. I'm having difficulty with my Wikipedia Henrietta Lacks page. So it's all good though, because what we'll do is we'll go here. All right. Yeah, no text. I think it's something with the coding or something weird like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes weird stuff happens, you know, especially dealing with this stuff here. Let me see. Hold on. All right, here we go. So we got the HeLa cells up. All right. Oh, here we go. Hold on real quick. Hold on. We can chill out on this one and we can put the other one back up real quick because it came back. All right. Yeah, sometimes this stuff is weird. You know what I'm saying? I ain't tripping. It's all good. As long as you guys bear with me. You know what I'm saying? All right. So this is where we at right here. All right. Let me see. HeLa cells were in high demand, but put into mass production. You see this? HeLa cells were in high demand and put into mass production. These white people stole this lady's tissues, her skin cells, made billions of dollars off of them, revolutionized the medical industry, and have the nerve to sit there and wag their fingers at everybody else and tell everybody else to pull themselves up by the bootstraps when you pulled somebody's damn skin off to make yourself rich. Which is not the first time that that's happened either. They did the same shit to Nat Turner, pulled his skin off. They have a habit of pulling people's skin off. But somehow are the beacon of morality, the beacon of perfection, the super people of the planet that have the right to wag their finger at everybody else and tell us what we need to be doing. I'll tell you what, I never stole anybody's body fluids or body tissues without consent and made buckets of money off of dead people. I've never done that. Kind of sick. They were mailed to scientists around the globe. I bet you they mailed them to scientists everywhere except for Africa, these white scientists. And this is an African American woman. I bet you they sent them to every European and Asian country and somehow bypassed Africa with their genetically racist asses. They were mailed to scientists around the globe for research into cancer, AIDS, the effects of radiation and toxic substances, gene mapping, and countless other scientific pursuits. HeLa cells were the first human cells successfully cloned in 1955 and have since been used to test human sensitivity to tape, glue, cosmetics, and many other products. There are almost 11,000 patents involving HeLa cells. 11,000 patents, Delmo. That's probably trillions of dollars worth of product that these white people stole and then will turn around and say, you pull yourself up by the bootstraps while we pull everybody else's skin off and get paid for it. Yeah, the members of the SOI would rip skin from you melanin folks and make leather shoes and goods and wear it. Yep, they sure did. They did that, Turner. They want to wag their fingers at everybody else and tell us what the hell we need to be doing. Hold on real quick. 11,000 patents. Yeah, 11,000 patents, bro. Imagine how much money that is. Imagine how much money that is. And one of these privileged people who is benefiting off this money will sit there and tell you, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. My grandfather illegally stole this tissue from a black woman. We've made billions of dollars. You can pull yourself up by the bootstraps. See, these people think that they're entitled to be able to do this. Well, you're not contributing, and they downplay anybody's contribution to the world. You didn't contribute anything. So, we have the right. If we have to cut an arm or cut a leg off to help the rest of humanity, well, we just have to do it. White privilege, illegitimate privilege. Yeah. Billions and trillions. Billions and trillions. In the early 1970s, a large portion of other cell cultures became contaminated by HeLa cells. As a result, members of Henrietta Lacks' family received solicitations for blood samples from researchers hoping to learn about the family's genetics in order to differentiate between HeLa cells and other cell lines. Never give any white institution your cells. It's one of the reasons why I stopped going to the doctor, and it's one of the reasons why I don't do lab tests or anything like that. Is irritating enough that I have to do COVID tests for work because God only knows what they can get from the mucus. But I don't give any white owned organization any body fluids from me. And this is the reason why. 23andMe, MedLab, Quest Diagnostics, none of them. None of them. If I have the cure to mankind inside my DNA, then guess what? That shit is going to die with me. Bet you I won't make some white scientist rich with it. You just have to wait a couple billion years till the next person with a DNA sequence like mine comes around. And hopefully that person will feel like sharing, because I don't. Alarmed and confused, several family members began questioning why they were receiving so many telephone calls requesting blood samples. In 1975, the family also learned through a chance dinner party conversation that material originating in Henrietta Lacks was continuing to be used for medical research. I'd be devastated if I found out something like that, especially while eating. The never discussed Henrietta's illness and deaths among themselves in the intervening years, but with the increased curiosity about their mother and her genetics, they now began to ask questions. Neither Henrietta Lacks nor her family gave physicians her permission to harvest her cells. Well, I mean, when do anybody ever give white people permission to do any damn thing? Did the Mayans, Aztecs, or indigenous Americans invite them to the damn party here? Nope. Sure didn't. But here we are. Big ass party. And now they're telling people who, needs to leave and who doesn't. How's that shit work? At the time, permission was neither required nor customarily sought. Well, it wasn't the times. Get over it, black people. I was watching TD Hip Hop Media's video that he did yesterday about how much of a pervert Elvis is and how Elvis is regarded as a king and all of his art and media are still up. And R. Kelly is R. Kelly is the face of how bad everything is in the world today. And somebody in his comments said, "Oh, well, it was the times, it was the times. Get over it. It was the times." It doesn't matter. The only thing that time changes is the date on the calendar and the position on the hour and minute hand. If something is morally and ethically right, something is morally and ethically right. You don't take people's stuff. You don't, as a grown man, engage with 14-year-old girls either. So I'm so tired of white people constantly saying, this is the time. This is the time. Do you need to evolve more so that you have the same moral standards as everybody else on the planet, or what? What's the problem? Why do you keep talking about time? It's never okay to mess with a 14-year-old girl. It's never okay. See, as soon as I start streaming, people constantly calling and shit. This is some new shit. Y'all know, like, people didn't never used to call while I was streaming. You know what I'm saying? Uh-oh. System of illegitimacy is like a parasite that refuses to leave its host. Yeah, no doubt. You have to burn it off like a wart. you have to either freeze, burn it off, or just burn it off in general like a wart. Oh shit. At that time, Permission was neither required nor customarily sought. The cells were used in medical research and for commercial purposes. In the 1980s, family medical records were published without family consent. Oh, so see, this is what we're doing. Yeah, we run the world, and we'll just put everybody's business out there while keeping ours very private. A similar issue was brought up in the Supreme Court of California case, Moore versus Regents of the University of California in 1990. The court ruled that a person's discarded tissues and cells are not their property and can be commercialized. Isn't that interesting? How does that work? The court ruled that a person's discarded tissues and cells are not their property and can be commercialized. They are your property. Your DNA signature is on them. They're yours. What the hell are you talking about? This is what I'm talking about these unnatural people and their unnatural system of illegitimacy. Last time I checked, DNA meant that tissue belongs to you. So you mean to tell me that if you go to a crime scene and I run a DNA test and I find DNA, what are we going to say? Well, you're guilty of the crime because this DNA, what? Belongs to you. Right? Oh, well, listen here. When it comes to us making money, we don't need to make any sense. It doesn't matter if your DNA is in it. It's ours now, just like everything else. We came here and there's people already here, but we discovered it. Your DNA has your DNA signature on it, but it's ours. It's ours now. You're in prison. You're on a prison planet. That's interesting. People calling, you need a PA. I know, right? Let me know how the live stream is looking, Delmo, because for some reason when I switch screens, there's like a delay in getting back to this screen. So I'm curious if there's a delay like in the stream. All right. Yeah, she's like now it's giving me a delay for some reason. I don't know why it's doing that. In March of 2013, researchers published the DNA sequence of the genome of a strain of HeLa cells. The Lacks family discovered this when the author Rebecca Skloot informed them. There were objections from the Lacks family about the genetic information that was available for public access. Jerry Lacks Way, a grandchild of Henrietta Lacks, said to the New York Times, the biggest concern was privacy. What information was actually going to be out there about our grandmother, and what information they can obtain from her sequencing that will tell them about her children and grandchildren, and going down the line. That same year, another group working on a different HeLa cell line genome under the National Institute of Health funding submitted it for publication. In August of 2013, an agreement was announced between the family and the NIH that gave the family some control over the access to the cells. Listen to this. They gave the family control over their own grandmother's cells. They gave the family, here, we're going to give you control over a few of your grandmother's cells. How does that make sense? Well, we'll just give you control. We'll give you a little bit of control over your grandmother's cells. How does that make sense? Does that make sense? In March of 2013, researchers published the DNA sequence of the genome of a strain of HeLa cells. The Lacks family discovered this when the author Rebecca Skloot informed them. There were objections to the Lacks family about the genetic information that was available for public access. Jerry Lacks Y, a grandchild of Henrietta Lacks, said to the New York Times, the biggest concern was privacy. What information was actually going to be out there about our grandmother, and what information they can obtain from her sequencing that will tell them about her children and her grandchildren going down the line. That same year, another group working on a different HeLa cell line genome under National Institutes of Health funding submitted it for publication. In August of 2013, an agreement was announced between the family and the NIH that gave the family some control over access to the cell's DNA sequence found in the two studies, along with a promise of acknowledgement in scientific papers. In addition, two family members will join the six-member committee, which will regulate access to the sequence data. In 2021, Lack's estate sued Thermo Fisher Scientific for undergoing unauthorized sales of Lack's HeLa cell line. In October of 2021, her estate filed suit against the pharmaceutical company, alleging entitlement to a share of the profits. Essentially, they are asking for disgorgement of profits and equitable tracing. It just amazes me that white people don't have common sense to think that if you cut up somebody's grandmother and utilize her for a guinea pig, that you are entitled to some kind of control. We discovered this. No, you didn't. The fuck? Control over her cells. That doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so if the family have control, what does that mean financially for the family? That means that they would be entitled to some of the profits that have been made from the illegal and disgusting sharing of her tissues. But the problem with that is that that would create an economic empowerment situation for these black people. And as we all know, economic empowerment of black people is forbidden under the system of illegitimacy. So, as illegitimate as this may be, this will not, I think that they'll have a very hard time with this in court. So now here it says in 1996, Morehouse School of Medicine held its first annual HeLa Women's Health Conference, led by physician Roland Petillo. The conference is held to give recognition to Henrietta Lacks, her cell line, and the valuable contribution made by African Americans to medical research and clinical practice. Yeah, we contribute to the white medical system even when we don't want to. Yeah. Huh. We contribute to keeping these motherfuckers alive even when we don't want to. Oh, thank you for your contribution. I mean, I don't think Henrietta Lacks had a choice. I don't think those people at the Tuskegee study had a choice. I don't think any of those Margaret Sanger victims had a choice. See, these people have their own language mixed up. Where you're giving a thanks, it should be an apology. We just want to thank you. Thank you for what? What do you want to thank me for? Dying so that you could profit using body capitalism? Well, you should be grateful, nigger. Why? So you could use my skin, use my tissues, use my cells to then create state-funded healthcare insurance policies that I still have to pay for? In 1996, Morehouse School of Medicine held its first annual HeLa first annual HeLa Women's Health Conference, led by physician Roland Petillo. The conference is held to give recognition to Henrietta Lacks, her cell line, and the valuable contribution made by African Americans to medical research and clinical practice. The mayor of Atlanta declared the date of the first conference October 11th of 1996. Oh, isn't this nice? Henrietta Lacks Day. There you go. Nice little holiday. The system of illegitimacy gave you a nice little holiday and no money, as usual. Look at it. Oh, they gave a nice little poster there, a nice little sign. Historical marker memorializing Henrietta Lacks in Clover, Virginia. A nice little park here. You know, that's what they do. After they steal from you, after they, cut you up and everything, we'll make a little park. You know, this is what they did in Wilmington, North Carolina. This is what they did in uh Tuskegee. And you get a nice little park and a plaque. You know, go about your way, black people. We'll get all the money and we'll reap all the benefits. Here's your plaque. Go away. You know, go away. We want to hear your siblings. You know, we don't want to hear anybody. Just go away. I'm hopeful they may see justice. A black employee just got compensated $137 million for discrimination at Tesla in the court. Yeah, I actually plan on doing a video about that too. I got that screen up. I haven't had a chance, bro. So much stuff has been happening that I haven't had a chance to talk about it. Yeah, I have an article here from MSN. Black ex Tesla worker who claimed racial abuse was awarded $137 million. The system of illegitimacy has taken so many damn losses. Oh, now we're going to start picking on Dave Chappelle. And then the Skywalker white boys, the angry white gamers, they're going to be like, oh, the cancel culture. If it wasn't for cancel culture, you guys are part of the cancel mob. What are you talking about? You guys are the ones going around canceling everybody. Need I bring up pre-1960? Lacks contributions continue to be celebrated at yearly events in Turner Station. At one such event in 1997, then U.S. Congressman from Maryland, Robert Ehrlich, presented a congressional resolution recognizing Lacks and her contributions to medical science and research. Yeah, Henrietta Lacks's contributions to medical science were kind of like black people's contributions to the United States. Nobody asked us to do it. We kind of just got forced to. Why are you giving awards for that? What you should be doing is awarding jail sentences. You should be awarding jail sentences to the crooked quacks that illegally harvested her skin. Or you should be awarding financial rewards to her family. That's what you should be doing. You do realize that, right? That's what normal humans would do. But he who judges who normal humans are does shit like this. In 2010, the Johns Hopkins Institute for Clinical and Translational Research established the annual, look at this, we're going to establish a nice little dinner and a lecture series. We're going to establish the annual Henrietta Lacks Memorial Lecture Series, where we're going to honor Henrietta Lacks and the global impact of her HeLa, her HeLa cells on medical research and science. She donated her body to science. She didn't donate any damn thing. A quack extorted her DNA. This is how they repackage and rephrase. Oh, this woman, she contributed. She didn't contribute any damn thing. She went to the hospital for care, and the hospital broke its damn oath. That's what happened. The illegitimate healthcare system practiced illegitimacy and profiting from illegitimacy, as usual. Well, we're going to wrap it up in a nice little package with a nice little, hotel dinner with some nice little dessert at the end of it and a couple lectures here. And, black people are so simple, they won't care about the long-lasting impacts. So what you guys need to understand about this is every time the system of illegitimacy behaves like this, every time the system of illegitimacy scrambles like this, they're doing two things. The first thing that they're doing is they're robbing you. The second thing that they're doing is that they're calling you stupid. They're calling you stupid and they're calling you incapable of punishing them. Holiday date. Token gesture, benign neglect. Yeah, that's facts, bro. Benign neglects, big facts right here. No, we're just gonna, we got you. We're sending, we're doing like the ancient Egyptians did. Who is that the ancient Egyptians? What was it? Was it Imhotep? Which one of those, or was it Horus? Which one of those ancient Egyptian gods did they spread the body all over the world? Who was it? I think it was. Oh, maybe it was Amun Ra. I can't remember. No, I think it was. Nah. Oh no, it was Osiris. I think it was Osiris, right? Wasn't it Osiris? Osiris. They spread him all over the world. It was I because yeah, that was part of the Isis and Osiris story. They spread it Osiris all over the world. So we're gonna spread this Henrietta Lacks all over the world. You know, send her tissues everywhere. You know, that's what we just gonna do. Here, you know. Oh, but we'll give you a little nice little dinner, you know, a nice little luncheon, nice little convention. We'll put up a couple signs, and you black people just shut up. This is how we're gonna fix it, and you're gonna take it. Yeah, I think it is Osiris, bro. I think it is Osiris because it was ISIS who spread it all over the place, right? It's something weird. Ironically, like I think she like kept his penis and spread the rest of him all over the world. Imagine that, right? But anyway, in 2010, the Johns Hopkins Institute for Clinical and Translational Research established the annual Henrietta Lacks Memorial Lecture Series to honor Henrietta Lacks and the global impact of HeLa cells on medicine and research. During the 2018 lectures, the university announced the naming of a new building. Oh, that's nice. I wonder if any black people own that building. Probably not. Naming of a new building on the medical campus for Lacks. We're just gonna make ourselves look. We're just so grateful. No, you're grateful when someone gives you something and you say thank you. You don't usually engage in theft and then act as if you're profusely thankful. Most times when people are thieves, they don't thank the person who they've stolen from. For some reason that's going on here. In 2011, Morgan State University in Baltimore granted Lacks a posthumous honorary doctorate in public service. Oh, posthumous honorary doctorate in public service, you know. Also in 2011, Evergreen School District in Vancouver, Washington, named their new high school focused on medical careers, Henrietta Lacks Health and Bioscience Health School. Listen, black people, the only way that you can be a notable contribution to science is if you allow a white person to victimize you. If you allow a white person to slice you, dice you, and send you all over the world, you can have a school just like us. Not even about if you let, because Henrietta Lacks didn't let any of these people do anything. They're unethical and just did it. That's black people. If you're in medical school, if you're in nursing school, if you're in any kind of school for healthcare, stop. The only meaningful contribution that you can have is if you just surrender yourself to white experimentation. That's it. Yeah, ISIS kept his joystick and stitched it back on when she assembled his body back. Now that's real, man. That's bro. That's ancient red pill right there. I mean, that was a loyal woman. ISIS was, you know. She that's the that's the one part she needed to make sure didn't change. You know what I'm saying? She had the rest of this motherfucker looking like Frankenstein, and everything from the waist down is smooth with no stitches. Really? And I think it might be a little bit of narcissism on the part of ISIS too. You know, she didn't want anything to be uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, wait a minute, now hold on. You know, everything else is all stitched up, and I'm looking like Frankenstein and needles and thread all over the place. But just this one area, you know, normal consistency. Okay, ISIS, sure. Oh shit. All righty, ISIS. We already know what you're on. You know, ancient Egyptian women were all shady, man. Wasn't Cleopatra was a little bit shady. The ancient women are all shady. Athena was shady. you know? Mary Magdalene, it's kind of shady, you know? Who else? Who else is some ancient women? I mean, we have the whore of Babylon, you know, in New York on Liberty Island. Ishtar. Yeah, Delilah. Come here. Give me those scissors. What? Yeah, that was Samson and Delilah. I'm gonna give you a, I can only imagine how Delilah's ass was too. She's probably just like how a lot of women are. Oh, Samson, you look so good with a bald head. Nah, bitch, leave my hair alone. That's where my strength comes from. You must not love me. You don't have faith in me that you will look just as good with your haircut as you will with all that hair. Um, you know, the God that I believe in said that I need my hair for my strength. And we have wars and shit coming up. Who you gonna listen to, motherfucker? God or me? Well, I'm gonna listen to my God. Because during that time, that was the best science that we had. She cut this motherfucker hair while he was asleep. Nas said sleeping is the cousin of death. That shit is true. Yeah, Delilah was shady as Eve. Shit, Eve and Lilith, both of the first women. Lilith was so damn shady. Don't nobody even know what the fuck happened to her ass. She was the first. She was the first motherfucker on the planet to get censored. They just wrote her ass out the Bible. This bitch, she's too damn crazy. We can't even put her ass in there. And then, yeah, most powerful men fall on their sword as a result of a woman. That's facts. But people don't give women credit. Women are smart, man. And in my opinion, you can sit there and say that men are more strong and men are more physically strong and this, that, and the other. That's one of the reasons why men always fall on their sword because they don't give women their credit. Women are extremely strong. If you're look at the David and Goliath story, the whole premise of the David and Goliath story was that somebody who's much smaller and weaker can beat somebody who's larger. Women beat men all the time. Women have been beating men all the time. I've been saying this same shit way before any of this white supremacist dating ideology, red pill, MGTOW, and all this nonsense. I've been saying this shit way before then. Women are extremely smart and extremely strategic, extremely calculating. People always talk about how women have a weakness of emotional intelligence. I don't think that it's a weakness of emotional intelligence because not only do they overemphasize their own emotions, but they understand how to read other people. That's why there's nobody out there that can make somebody as upset as a woman can. A man can troll you and talk shit and piss you the fuck off, but he's not going to piss you off and fuck your head up like a woman will. And that's a skill. And women should be lawyers and shit, you know? Women should be lawyers, salespeople, you know, DJs and shit like that. Trust, I do not underestimate a woman's threat. Never. Hell no, me neither. Me neither. And it comes off as like I hate women or something like that, or like I have an issue with women, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? I have an amazing girlfriend that I love dearly. But at the end of the day, I'm a man. You know? La costra la nostra. You know? So now check this out. In 2011, Morgan State University in Baltimore, so they granted Lacks that Prometheus Or I'm sorry, that posthumous honorary doctorate in public service. Also, in 2011, Evergreen School District in Vancouver, Washington, they named a new high school focused on medical careers, Henrietta Lacks Health and Bioscience High School, becoming the first organization to memorialize her publicly by naming a school in her honor. In 2014, Lacks was inducted into the Maryland Women's Hall of Fame. In 2017, a minor planet. Look at this. They done named a planet after her. Okay. Look at this. So my question is, does her family own this planet? Elon Musk and all them is going to Mars and going to the moon and just claiming those in the name of whiteness. Are we allowed to claim this minor planet in the main asteroid belt? Because I put money on it that on 359426 lakhs, I guarantee you that there's like ridiculous amounts of precious metal deposits and gold. Because every time an asteroid is found and comes past the Earth's orbit and pieces of it drop off, there's always what we on Earth consider precious metals. So if we are able to get people to that asteroid and we extract resources from that asteroid, are those our resources? Or are the illegitimate parasites going to come and try to take them? This is one of the reasons why black people need to concentrate in thermodynamics and physics and artificial intelligence and building military equipment and artificial intelligence, drones and weapons. That needs to be the career field that black people take over, and everybody else needs to get sold the low grade weapons, and we keep the high grade weapons for defending black people worldwide. That's what needs to happen. Tony Stark's that shit. All the symbolism is annoying. Just cut the check to the family. Yeah, you would think. You would think. But they won't. We're dealing with illegitimacy. All right. So that's that. All right. So you guys get the gist on that. So what I find even more interesting, right? I think Oprah I think Oprah is actually doing some kind of she's trying to do some kind of special, or she's trying to do some kind of documentary. You know, Oprah is, if she can find a way to bash black men, she's all about it, you know. Her big ass. Hold on real quick. She was one of the first people. She can talk so much shit about everybody, but she can't say anything she can't take anybody talking about her weight. She could sit there and drag black men for a decade, but her fat, square, SpongeBob shaped ass can't take anything about anybody talking about her weight. You're fat shaming. Okay, you're male shaming, bitch. Oprah is such a coon. She gave her all white audience vehicles one time. All she did was talk shit about Jay-Z, which Jay-Z is a coon also. And then they finally had to have a little show collaboration. Was it, listen here, Oprah, we're on the same team. We're licking the same boots here. Why are you talking shit to me? Does this lax litigation have some statute of limitations? Yeah, this isn't the first time that they sued them. The reason why they're suing this time is because of the HeLa cells that are used in the COVID-19 vaccine research. So since they're using them again for this specific instance, there's no statute of limitations on this one because it's new. So they're suing for that particular thing. I think like Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson and Johnson, those companies there. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says on the 70th anniversary of Henrietta Lack's death, her surviving family members are using a pharmaceutical company for using her background or using her groundbreaking cells without her consent. And then all of a sudden, my computer just stopped allowing me to scroll down. Oh, here we go. Okay, there we go. I'm like, wait a minute now. Wait a minute, hold on. Okay. All right. Here we go. This is where it was. All right. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump announced the lawsuit against Thermo Fisher Scientific on Monday, the same day the complaint was filed in Maryland. In the complaint obtained by People, the estate of Henrietta Lacks alleges that the company is making a conscious choice to sell and mass produce the living tissue of Henrietta Lacks, a Black woman, grandmother, and community leader, despite the corporation's knowledge that Ms. Lacks' tissue was taken from her without her consent by doctors at Johns Hopkins Hospital. White people have literally taken everything from everybody without their consent. That's literally like a cultural thing. I mean, this entire country was taken from motherfuckers without their consent. Crump shared in a similar statement on his Twitter account. A rep for Thermo Fisher Scientific did not immediately respond to People's request for comment. Lacks was a Black woman who died of cervical cancer on October 4th, 1951, nearly 2 months after she was admitted to Johns Hopkins. During her stay, doctors extracted her cancer cells from a biopsied tumor without her consent, which was common practice at the time. So you see how they have to wrap it up, which was common practice at the time. Everything is common practice at the time. Elvis fucking 14-year-old girls, common practice at the time. Racism in the 1960s, it's common practice at the time. Everything is common practice at the time until these motherfuckers wise up and then act like they're the beacons of motherfucking morality and that nothing was ever done wrong. And that, there was just a hiccup in history. You know, that was back in a time when people used to do these things routinely. Well, not everybody was doing that shit routinely, fool. Let's talk about the bizarre shit that only you did. And then when you finally realize that your strange ass is doing something wrong, then you turn around and say, well, it's just a hiccup in history. I mean, there was a time when this shit used to be normal. There was a time when this shit was normal for you, but not for anybody else. That's how you need to phrase it. This wasn't a hiccup in humanity. Everybody else wasn't chopping people up and sending them around the globe. That's some shit you were doing. Everybody else wasn't around the world being racist. That's some shit you were doing. You, matter of fact, taught everybody else. Taught Germany. But that's some special shit that these American white people were doing. And they were taught by the British. SOA using code talk, like those were different times. If we listen to this, let's actually scientifically disprove that shit. If we're living right in a system, a universal system where the laws of physics and thermodynamics rule everything that we do, then nothing is ever a different time. Because we're traveling through space, and space and time are one. Which means that however space and time exert force on our planet, it's the same time. General relativity and quantum physics hold up. So it's never not a different time. It's just that you're ridiculous. You collectively have issues. Then you try to justify it with some nice sounding talk. You'll get somebody in a business suit, to make them sound legitimate and say, well, these were things that happened back then. These were things that happened back here, back then, that only white people did. You need to be given full credit for that. I've never seen people that want to share the faults and take the credit the way these people do. How's that work? System of illegitimacy. Lacks was a black woman who died of cervical cancer on October 4th of 1951, nearly 2 months after she was admitted to Johns Hopkins. During her stay, doctors extracted her cancer cells from a biopsy tumor without her consent, which was common practice at the time. They were cultured by Dr. George Gay. Known as HeLa cells, they continue to divide and remain viable even outside of her body in test tubes, allowing researchers to share the cell line widely and continue to perform tests. HeLa cells have since contributed to a vast range of medical advancements, including vaccine development, cancer treatment, and HIV/AIDS research. All right, so here's the letter from the Ben Crump company, the Ben Crump, you know, law, legal. All right. Despite the groundbreaking innovations that resulted from the Lacks family has never been compensated for the medical industry's widespread use of Henrietta's cell line. And this is the ongoing theme. That's the ongoing planetary theme. We as white people are strong. You as black people are weak. We will steal and take from you, publicize it, tell the world how great we are, and you will get nothing. And you will never get anything. Anything not consistent with that is a problem. Those are the rules that we live under. We will take your shit. We will exploit your shit. You will take the scraps that we give you. And if you have an issue with it, then it's war. That's why the United States has such an issue with China. That's why the United States has such an issue with Russia. That's why the United States has such an issue with some of the countries in the Middle East, like Iran. Supremacy and the rule of white supremacy is we'll take from you. Your reward is the breadcrumbs that we give you. And if you don't shut up, we'll kill you. Same as the Proud Boys. You know, you remember that video from Exposed the Manosphere where Gavin McInnes proudly said that, right? So when they say that they uphold Western values, he's right. We'll kill you. He's right. That's what they do. Western values is we'll kill you if we don't agree with you. Look at Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. We'll kill you. Look at Gaddafi. We'll kill you. Look at John Brown. We'll kill you. Look at Kim Jong-un. Remember when Pompeo was saying we'd hate to have a Gaddafi situation in North Korea? We'll kill you. And the Black Panthers, we'll kill you. Native Indigenous Americans, we'll kill you. Black Panthers and black people in the 1960s, we'll kill you. White America's public policy number one, we'll kill you. Welcome to America. Despite the groundbreaking innovations that resulted, the Lacks family has never been compensated for the medical industry's widespread use of Henrietta's cell line. This, ladies and gentlemen, is United States white supremacist public policy. This is prime policy and procedure. We'll take from you without your permission, and you'll shut the hell up about it, and you won't get shit, and neither will your family. If that's not United States public policy, then how is it that, you know, that's literally what's been going on the entire time? You said, is this broadcast running on Black Light Revelations 1 and 2? Nah, Nah. I might edit it and put it on there, but I doubt it. I'm gonna start using this channel for a little bit too, because that way I can get a couple more subscribers over here, some different people. You know what I'm saying? And then bring them back together. Because you got to do those little kind of tricks with YouTube because of the algorithm. Because they like to play games. They don't like people talking about this kind of stuff. Thermo Fisher's scientific choice to continue selling HeLa cells in spite of the cell line's origin and the concrete harms it inflicts on the Lacks family can only be understood as a choice to embrace a legacy of racial injustice embedded in the U.S. research and medical systems. Attorney Crump said, "Oh, that didn't happen. These were different times. You black people just need to. You black people just need to stop. Stop talking. Stop thinking. Well, wait a minute. You're black. You're already not capable of doing that." I mean, you know, black people have the right to control their bodies, and yet Thermo Fisher Scientific treats Henrietta Lacks' living cells as chattel to be bought and sold. So we got Ben Crump. He's eyeball bucking. You know what I'm saying? He's using he's using new black media talking points. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to get that slavery sympathy. I don't understand why black people continue to use that as a strategy. White people are proud of conquering black people and having them in slavery. You're never going to get any sympathy from white people about what their ancestors did because they're proud of it. They wouldn't be where they were without their ancestors. So I don't know if anything, black people should shame other black people if you're critiquing black people about being so weak that you let, a less civilized group of people enslave you. I don't understand why people do that. People need to stop with the slave talk, in my opinion. That kind of talk needs to be had amongst each other. That doesn't have any place in a discussion with other races, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna buy and sell her cells like chattel. Uh, you know, I don't know, but I don't know how effective that is. You're not, if you're trying to make a point to the population at large, you have to understand that when you talk about these kind of things, those people are not opposed to that. Yep, here Trump said America great again. Code for let's get back to vintage system of illegitimacy. Facts. Code for make America white again. Which America's never been white, so I'm confused about that. I guess he's talking about when the snow falls. I don't know. But yeah, that's absolutely code for let's get back to post civil rights. Let's get back to when these niggers were under control. Preaching genetic determinism and shit. And then the thing is that when you bring this stuff up or when you talk about this stuff, for some reason they don't have to stand behind their work or stand on their words. Oh, well, that's not what he didn't mean that. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Code for let's get back to vintage system of illegitimacy. That's big facts. That's super facts. That's exactly what they want. Vintage illegitimacy. This lawsuit states that white doctors at Johns Hopkins in the 1950s frequently experimented on black women with cervical cancer, removing tissue samples from patients' cervixes without their knowledge or consent. I mean, can I ask white people, what is wrong with you all? Why are you all constantly cutting on people and then selling it? The fuck? At several points across those decades, we found that John Hopkins could have and should have done more to inform and work with members of Henrietta Lacks' family without respect for them. But they won't, because the code of white supremacy is anytime you can exert any kind of authority over a non-white person, we'll do it. We'll take your skin cells, and that's just it. And there won't be any repercussions. And the ungrateful little worms that come after our generation will point their fingers at you and tell you to pull yourself up by the bootstraps because they don't have any damn morals, conscience, or ethics themselves. Get over it. They grew up in a household with their little brothers and sisters, telling their little brothers and sisters to get over it after Sally just popped Jimmy in the head with a damn pan. Jesus. Those decades, we found that John Hopkins could have and should have done more to inform work with members of Henrietta Lacks' family out of respect for them, their privacy, and their personal interest. The John Hopkins website states, "We are deeply committed to ongoing efforts at our institutions and elsewhere to honor the contributions of Lacks and to ensure appropriate protection and care of the Lacks family's medical information." However, in this paragraph, they listed that there's what are the financial compensation plans? They doing all this Mayo splaining, and ain't nobody asked for a motherfucking sandwich. Where is the cash at? Where's the cash at? Where the cash? Where the cash at? The immortal life of Henrietta Lacks was adopted by Oprah Winfrey. So now we got another white supremacist, Oprah Winfrey, Harpo Films, into an HBO movie in 2017. Now, I wonder what she did to help the Lacks family with the proceeds that she made from this movie. I wonder, is she footing the bill for Ben Crump himself? Probably not. She probably got a flatbed-sized pan of tiramisu to nosedive into and eat after a stressful day. That's probably what she did with the money. The Lacks family has sought legal restitution in the past before they began working with Crump, who has represented the families of several black people killed by police officers, including Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, and Breonna Taylor. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. All right. So I actually found some more articles. All right. And my thing is that I really, really want to talk about this a lot because I really think that this is important. You know what I'm saying? I really think that this is important. Obsession with cutting, their Greco-Roman origin of barbarism supplies the answer. Yeah, no doubt. Facts. That one of the things that people don't know is that's why the pole, is red and blue. It's from cutting because that's what barbers used to do. But that's another story for another day, and that's facts, Delmo. People don't know that shit. You know, people don't know that shit. So I got a question. What do you think? Do you think that I should do another video of this? Because I found a different article, and I think this other article is actually pretty informative. And I think that is something that we need to talk about. But I think I'm going to do it a little bit later, though, because the thing is that people tend to forget about this. This is the kind of stuff like this is important, but there's other stuff that's going on. So what they'll do is, you know, they'll make it so that we're not paying attention to this and people are more focused on that other stuff that's going on instead of paying attention to what's important, like this thing right here. You know what I'm saying? And I think that right there is extremely important. So I think I'm actually going to do one video on each of my YouTube channels about Henrietta Lacks, a full video. It'll be it'll take a minute, but I'm gonna make my rounds. So that's what I think I'm gonna do. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, all right, I appreciate you coming. Actually, gentleman, because Delmo, you're the only one here. So I appreciate it, bro. And it's all good. There'll be more people here next time. You know, it's a slow process. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to do a video about Chappelle. I'm just not sure when I'm gonna be able to fit it in. Because what day is it today? Today is Friday. Tomorrow, we actually have a live stream planned. That's going to be a live stream on Haps with me, Snapshot Reviews, who's another brother from the UK, and Sophia Alexandria, who's also from the UK. So that should be pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be at 3:00 p.m. Eastern time. All right. So with that being said, I will catch you all on the next video. Delmo, as always, you already know I appreciate you, bro. Take it easy. Don't work too hard. All right. Peace.